Gotta just ride the energy of like the super realness that I've been hearing tonight, starting with you, and then other guy. So I like never do this piece. I usually have like this routine that I stick to. So I'm about to go try stuff. There once was a kid named Brandon, just as happy as can be. Eventually that would change because of a dude named JT. See, JT was the only grandson of Brandon's babysitter, and she was molesting JT every night, making him lay down with her, putting evil in his heart from the time his memories start, and he would continue the cycle. His soul was ripped apart. She didn't know that JT would pass that evil along, or that it would get told to the whole world in the form of this song. Twisted innocence, not knowing what was right or wrong before JT even developed, his whole mind was gone. And one day, Brandon and JT, they were playing out in the backyard. JT stopped playing, stared at Brandon, and he suddenly smacked him real hard. He was regurgitating the hatred he was so used to every night. He told Brandon he was going to hurt him if he didn't do everything that he said right. Brandon was only 4. JT, he was going on 11. The things JT did to Brandon, they sealed his soul from heaven. And when it was over, JT told him to never speak about it. So he pushed the memory out of his mind and let his memory get clouded. Let's fast forward to a flashback on sex education. And Brandon, he finally realized what happened to him was a real abomination. And he was confused and hurt, and he kept trying to repress it. But he felt like killing himself every time he started stressing. He started having nightmares about demons giving him lessons, and began to truly believe that all of these dreams were really blessings. He started fantasizing about all types of weapons. The devil wanted his soul, and he was seeping in his essence. It was always on his mind. He couldn't make himself forget. Nothing made him happy, but the thought of JT dead sure did. So he came to a conclusion, and he knew just what to do. He dreamed of finding JT and turning him to maggot food. Hell-bent on dishing the same pain that he felt a millionfold. Almost 17 years later, the revenge plate was real cold. It was time to serve it up, what he'd been planning for years. Assassin stalker status, he even knew all of JT's fears. So he got his tools and bag ready, and he hopped up in the car. He was going hunting, and he knew he wouldn't have to go far. He had studied JT's routine, and Saturday was club night. He had just been waiting for the right time to reunite. Only 1 hour later, he had found JT's whip. Excitement hit Brandon quick, and he knew that this moment was it. Scanning for the faces he always saw up in his nightmares, looked over to the left and saw JT standing right there. So he hopped out the car like the engine was on fire, then pistol whipped him as hard as he could and blood splattered his attire. He scooped JT up, then he dragged him to the trunk, then he spit in his face. Told him he was a punk. Closed the trunk, hopped in, put the pedal to the metal. They were headed to JT's resting place Brandon had it planned special. A place deep in the country, where no one could hear a thing. JT could scream as loud as he wanted to, and Brandon, he planned to sing. He got to the place, opened the trunk, went to get him out, shot him in the kneecap one time just to let him know what he was about. Then he paused, and he just smiled, and shot him in the other one for good measure. Brandon truly believed that JT's pain would be his pleasure. He dragged him from the car to the old rickety house. Brandon's hatred was burning bright, the fire would not be doused. JT didn't recognize Brandon, and he asked him what he wanted. Brandon said for you to pray for fucking death. His tone demonic. The things that went on there, too dark to even speak. For the next week, Brandon was out in the water. He was chumming meat. Brandon, he could rest in peace while JT's asleep in the deeps. And Brandon's only thought was, happy birthday to me. There's no need to speculate if this story is true. Just know if you molest a kid, then JT could be you. Something that I wrote because it was something that happened to me. It's not my confession, so yeah. But I'm here to say like this testament. I didn't tell anybody, so I was like 23. I let that shit like eat away at me, and like I was like wild, super fucking wild, all the time, seriously. And yeah, like you can get through anything. Like I'm still standing here. I'm 26 now. I'm about to get my master's at Howard. Jamarian XY. Oh, you see? It's my brother's blood.